All right, y'all. Here's a question. Why men don't approach women anymore? Glad you asked. Let's get into it, family. Happy Saturday, everybody. Number one, the fear of rejection. Women today, as we know, have some unrealistic standards. Some women. Unless he has a six-pack, six figure, and is 6 feet, you can't talk to him. Number two, it's not just about the fear of rejection. For some men, it's the fear of being labeled a creep or a predator because the man that's approaching you isn't your type. So because he's interested in you, he a creep? Come on now. Number three, online dating, which has made it so men don't have to get rejected in person. Number four, social media. Now you can just run up in somebody's DM. You don't have to have communication skills. I think all this technology and everything has made our communication skills terrible, y'all. Terrible. And last, we've seen how women will reject men in unnecessarily rude ways. It's okay to not be interested, to try to embarrass them. Y'all, we gotta stop.
Do you want to hear the unfiltered truth? Here it is. Women are becoming choosier simply because they can live independently as opposed to women of the past. More and more people have no social circle due to my first reason, making it hard to interact and find someone. Women are now sleeping around far more than ever, resulting in not having to be in an actual partnership. Dating apps, for some women, are setting the bar higher than before and giving women the impression they could have anyone. Cultural expectations on men to be manly and masculine, traits that most women find attractive, are not emphasized anymore. A guy can be who he is, whether it's being quiet, weird, edgy, feminine, a shut-in, etc. Unfortunately, this turns a lot of women off, resulting in less attraction. We are becoming more candid as a society, more honest, with fewer pleasantries and niceties. This also extends to dynamics between men and women. If we are honest, men and women don't really get along. That's not to say they can't make things work, but a guy wouldn't spend 2 seconds with his best friend if his best friend had the personality of his girlfriend. We know what's actually going on between men and women, and it's not all sunshine and soulmates. Today, men have decided just not to indulge in any behavior that allows women to disrespect and invalidate them. Women's behavior towards men has just gone down the drain, and men have realized this. They have chosen their reputation, integrity, and respect over the disrespect and humiliation extended by women towards them. Today, people are a lot less likely to settle for someone now, as we can happily spend our time alone watching Netflix, browsing the internet, playing video games, or scrolling through social media. Seriously. I'd be much better off not approaching women, because I swear I've heard stories of women calling the police over guys approaching them. Obviously, there was nothing wrong with the guys. It was just that they did not fit their profile in the looks and money departments. So, why would I or anyone put myself through something like this? It doesn't make sense. Also, I think a very high percentage of women are just not even worth approaching anymore. I think that's what they want, to be publicly valued by men, so they can show off in their circles, humiliate the guy, and feel validated, which she isn't in any part of her life. Can modern women even be approached? If you want to be contacted, you need to appear approachable. Otherwise, people will take one look at you and decide not to approach you, much less engage in conversation. And today's women carry themselves in public as if they were some sort of royalty. Another reason why men don't approach women anymore is how women behave in public. They are just not very approachable in the sense that they give off a vibe that says, "Don't bother me." I mean, if a guy had a really angry expression all the time that basically said, "Do not come near me," would any woman approach that guy? Not at all. The same thing applies to women in public and private settings. If a man sees a woman he likes and wants to start a conversation with, and she looks cold and closed off, he will assume she doesn't want to talk to anyone, and he wouldn't want to approach that woman. That is how important smiling and looking inviting with open body language is. But modern women don't care and aren't willing to change. So likewise, men are just not going to approach, and that's that. So, whenever men see women they like, and even if they want to approach her, her body language and expression turn them away. And then women complain that guys don't approach them anymore. Ladies, if you want someone to approach you, at least work on yourself to have a better and more pleasant look. You don't have to look like you're going to burst with rage any moment all the time. Otherwise, men are just going to ignore you, even if you want them to approach you. Men are just done with the BS and the unreasonable demands of women. Women don't want a guy who is ugly, they don't want someone driving an old, unfashionable car, and they don't want someone who doesn't have something that's on a woman's checklist. Do you see what I mean? And yet, they go about cheating on men who have all the things that they want. So, men have begun to realize all of this and wake up. They don't have time to waste on women who make sure that it's meaningless to even interact with them. For men, the game is basically rigged, and women don't seem to realize this. They want what they want. And men are not going to indulge in tolerating women's inhospitable attitudes anymore. Men will therefore just enjoy their free time while working hard, avoid distractions, and happily follow their passions. They are better off engaging with women online to determine whom they can spend their time with because they have more possibilities now. Overall, women today, particularly in Western countries, have the same, if not more, rights as males. But they feel that is insufficient and demand more. They are becoming slaves to their corporate occupations, and frequently to consumerism and male approval, thanks to the so-called freedom. The majority of boss girls are just cogs in the machine, despite the fact that some women are rising to positions of authority. And let's face it, quotas are a major factor in the rise of women in a variety of institutions, including businesses, governments, and security services. The sole purpose of the girl boss movement is to gain influence and membership inside the sisterhood. The reality is that they are actually miserable. They're just trying to cope by convincing themselves that they're living their best lives, even when the reality is far different from what they portray on social media. The unfortunate truth is that women consume a lot of antidepressants and are generally unhappy with their life. In the dating market, young men sometimes struggle if they aren't adequately handsome, whereas even mediocre young women can quickly find love. The tables change once the 30 or 35-year-old mark is passed, and those men are now so committed to their goal that they either don't have time for dating or prefer younger women. The cycle is destined to repeat itself indefinitely, but we aren't here to grieve it. Instead, Megto men are actually enjoying their life and are happier than the ladies flaunting designer purses, copious amounts of makeup, and a new partner every week. Men are inherently straightforward creatures. Therefore, their demands are limited to loyalty and a partnership free of conflict. Women, however, are more complex, and despite their assertions to the contrary, rarely uphold the standard of communication. Men who choose to go their own way have either learned about female nature through experience or by looking at the cases of other men. Unfortunately, we live in a world that empowers women constantly and never hear anything about how men are being empowered. Women's empowerment has led to a systemic change in society that now only allows and accepts women's empowerment. If you talk about encouraging, helping, supporting, or empowering men, the same society will laugh at you. That's not to say that most men need empowerment, because generally speaking, men can handle themselves and learn how to. But still, there are men who need validation and empowerment just as women do, but they're never going to get it in this day and age. Why? Where does the equality that feminism talks about all the time? Is equality only when women are empowered? That's just hypocrisy then. The situation now is that almost all men don't approach women anymore, and women are left wondering how they can turn the system back around to their favor. I'm not sure if that's going to happen anytime soon. Thanks for watching Man Reacts. Show us your love and support by liking this video, sharing it with your friends, and subscribing to the channel. And let us know your thoughts on this in the comments. We're always up for a healthy debate and discussion.